this is Lise from Lisa's Crafty Creations, and today I thought I'd do a little bit of a getting to know you, getting to know all about you. Anyway, on that note, we'll move on quickly because I'm not a very good singer. So first of all, I thought I'd show you just what I'm working on. This is called Colourful Oil Flowers. It's from JBFKE. It's 135 by 45 centimetres, that's the canvas. It's a round drill, full coverage, unfortunately, which means there's a lot of colour blocking because there's a lot of white in this painting, as you'll see in a second. There is 27 drills, colours. Forgot to write that down. 27 colours with no specials. As I say, it's from GBFKE and the price was £16.14 or $17.99. The delivery was $6.99, but that was for the full order, and I bought 5 items on this order, 4 diamond paintings and a pen. It was ordered on the 10th of November 2020. It arrived on the 25th of November 2020, and I started it on the 28th of the 3rd. 28th of the 3rd? Yeah. 2021. No, 28th of the 4th. I just started the 28th of the 4th. I thought that didn't sound right. It was only a couple of days ago. I would say it's a beginner canvas. I'm not sure what I'm going to do with it when it's finished. So that's all the information I have on it. The drills are all here. They're lovely. They come in order of use. I have cut some of them up, so we'll go through them anyway. Right, so we have number 1, which is 150. We have a black, 310. We have 349, 498, 500, 598, 601, 775. That's looks quite green, that one, but when you actually put it on the canvas, it looks more white with just a touch of green. So it's very pale when you put it on down, but when it's grouped together, it looks quite green, but it's actually quite pale. And we've got 780, 818, 898, 902, 943, 945, 959 and 961. That's in that reel. We have all of these, which is B5 200, and we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20 of that. So as you can see, there's a lot of white. Okay, we also have we have 3689, 3766, 3804 and 3812. We have 3354 and 3687. We have 3822, which is a nice yellow. It's the 310. And we have 977. As you can see, I've already started this diamond painting. I did tell you at the beginning I started it on the 28th. And what I do is I photocopy the schematic on the canvas. I need to photocopy the painting yet, and then I put them through my sticker maker, my Xerox sticker maker, and make little stickers like this. And then what I'll do is, it came with a lot of baggies, so what I'll do is when I open these, I'll put them in a baggie and stick that sticker on. So then I've got all the details I need. I've got the number of the drill, I've got the symbol, and I've got the DMC code. So when if I don't come to kitting down, I can put them straight away. That's not a problem. Now the canvas itself is very nice. As I said, it's called Wonderful Oil Flowers or something, Colourful Oil Flowers or something like that. And there's a variety of different, well, there's two different types of flowers. I think one's a tulip and I think that's a poppy. And it says, love, indulge in sweet love. All that white there is actually to do, it's colour blocking. A lot of colour blocking in this picture, which is why I say it's a beginner. Very vivid colours. The symbolage is reasonable. I would say I'm quite pleased with that. There's nothing much I can see that would cause a problem, and the numbers are actually 1 to 1, 2 to 2, 3 to 3. So you get the right number to the right symbol, which is good. And it's 3 separate paintings. So that's the first one. Then you have this big poppy here. Let's try and get it in focus. There you have the big poppy. And then finally, you have this one, which says, life, live and pay life every day. Oh, it says, live a happy life every day. That's my dyslexia showing out for you. So as you can see, these are actually not poppies, these are Lisianthus, those ones. So as you can see, it's a beautiful painting. I have done one GBFK before and was really pleased with it, called 9 Running Horses. I'll do a review of that at some point. And it was beautiful, it was easy to do, it was absolutely, the resolution was great, and the horses really stood out. I was so pleased with it. And for the price, you can't go wrong, you know, for the quality of the painting, the quality of the diamonds. I found they were really, especially the round, were really, really good. I did have one issue with one painting. It came and it was slightly warped. It wouldn't lie flat at all. And it wasn't rivers, and it was the canvas itself looked like it had been stretched and twisted. It was really strange. So they're going to send me another canvas out with my next purchase of the from their store, which I will be purchasing again, because as I say, I am really pleased with GBFK. So that's what I'm working on today. So if you give me a second to set up, and sit myself down, I'll just alter the camera and bring you down a little bit. There we go, it's about right, I think. Let's see what I'm doing. I have my coffee, I have my diamonds and my stickers and some baggies, although I need more baggies, which I should have somewhere, but it'll take me a while to get through because I'm doing the whites. So I have my Diamond Art Club pen. This actually is, I had it replaced, and so I've got 2 pens now, and I am still able to use this, but because it chipped on the end there. I don't know whether you can see that, there's a slight chip in it. When I pulled out one of the places, it just chipped. So I got in touch with Diamond Art Club and they kindly replaced the pen for me. So now I've got another Diamond Art Club pen when I can find it. And they sent me this one because they didn't have any of this in stock, so they sent me this one. I did choose it. So that was great. I was well chuffed with that. I didn't expect anything back. I just was wanting to let them know that their pen had chipped. But it's a lovely pen. It's nice to hold. And we'll see today, because my hands are really sore today, so we'll give it a proper trial today. Because I tend to switch and swap pens quite a lot because of my hands. So today I thought I'd tell you a few stories about things that have happened to me. And one story in particular I thought you might find interesting. and it's to do with my bipolar. I don't know whether I've mentioned before, but I suffer from bipolar, and then bipolar is a mood disorder. It used to be referred to as manic depression, but now they've identified it as the actual change in moods. So where everybody has a change in mood, my change in mood is very extreme. So for example, you might be sad one day, and then you go down and you just don't feel particularly anything, and then you go down, then you go up and you feel happy, then you might go back down to feeling normal, like a normal day, then something happens and you feel sad. Well, with mine, the spike higher than normal. So if I'm happy, or if I'm in a high mood, I shoot right up past normal, and then I might plummet down to a depression. So one day, well, for a while I was on a high, and when you're on a high, we refer to it as a high. When you're on a high, you feel nothing can stop you. You're invincible almost. You can do anything at all, whether you've been trained for it or not. You know, you can do this. And it can be quite frightening, especially for other people. I mean, you don't feel the fear at the time, but when you actually realise what you've done when you come down out of a high, you think, flipping heck, I could have killed myself. And that's the danger with a bipolar high, is because you feel so invincible, you do things that you shouldn't normally do, or you wouldn't even normally do. Well, it also makes you feel like you've got so much energy, you need to burn it off. You feel agitated, and like just on edge all the time, that you feel like you need to be moving, you need to be doing something. At times I pace the house, because I don't go out very much now, which is probably not good, but I pace the house. I just walk backwards and forwards, and put holes in my carpets almost with the pacing. It drives everybody nuts in the house, but I just can't sit still. I just can't, you know, if even if I'm sat down, something's moving, which I think is why craft work is so beneficial, is because it keeps your mind busy, it keeps your hands busy. You're actually doing something and focusing on something. Mine, sometimes you think when you're on a high, you think you can do anything and you attempt stuff, and when you actually come, you think it's fabulous, and everybody around you's going, yes, that's nice, because they don't want to offend you, especially in the mood that you're in. And when you actually look back, you think, what on earth was I thinking? That is terrible. So it's not a good place to be in. You know, everybody thinks, oh, when you're on a high it's great, but it actually isn't great. I mean, it is great sometimes. I've spring cleaned my kitchen 3 times in a day. You know, I'll clean everything out, wash all the cupboards down and clean it, and then I'll decide, well, I didn't like it, so I'll go back and do it again. And you know, daft stuff like that. But one day I was on, so I'll go back to the story. I've explained a little bit about why I did this. Now, we had a dog at the time called Sabre. He was absolutely gorgeous. He was a Mastador. I don't know whether you've ever heard of them before. They are quite common in America, apparently. But what they are is a cross between an English Bull Mastiff and a Labrador. And they're absolutely beautiful. The temperament is just... They're very protective of you, but they're as friendly as anything. And they're friendly with other people, you know. For all they're protective of you, they're not aggressive. The only time they become aggressive is when they can sense your fear. So, for example, one day I was walking down, and the children were just small. They were just in the pram, and I was meeting their great-grandma. And she had this little mobile scooter, and she used to come down from the village she lived in, which was like about a 10-minute scooter ride, 15-minute scooter ride from my house. So I used to meet her at the traffic lights, because she was slightly blind, she had slight eye problems, and she was okay most of the time, but she couldn't see the colours of the lights. So I used to walk down to the traffic lights and meet her there and help her get across the road, because she had to come diagonally across the road. So one day I was gone, and this gentleman, bless him, he was only trying to be helpful, but he did something I didn't want him to do. He never asked. He just grabbed the bottom of the pram, because we were walking down this path and it was quite narrow, and he saw Grandma coming up the road in a mobile scooter, and he thought, well, she needs to get past, not realising, of course, that I was actually meeting this lady. So he bent down, picked the bottom of the pram up without saying anything, and I went, no, it's all right, fine, I'm just meeting her, realising what he was trying to do. Well, because my voice was like, no, and he'd immediately picked down the pram, the dog took umbrage to that, and he got in front and between the pram and me, and the pram and the pram and the man, and he immediately put it down, because the dog, I mean, he didn't bite, he just stood between him and growled, and that was enough. He was a big dog, as you can imagine, Labrador cross mastiff. He was a big dog, and very handsome looking dog, but he could be scary if he needed to be. And this, the man immediately said sorry, and I'm like, oh, I'm sorry, you know. I said, I don't want to, I'm meeting that lady, I'm not wanting to be passed. Oh, and he apologised, and it was fine. But I was so proud of the dog in some ways, because he actually protected the family. You could sense that he wouldn't let anybody hurt you if the time came. So, and I loved that dog. He was absolutely beautiful dog, and we had him for 14 years, and then he became severely incontinent. He wasn't happy. We had to have him put to sleep. Life had become too much for him, and especially the fact that he couldn't hold his bowels and his waterworks, and he knew that he wasn't supposed to mess in the house, so he became upset because he was doing something he knew he wasn't supposed to be doing. And I know that seems a bit odd for people who think, you know, animals don't feel that kind of thing, but they do. And he could see him being upset at the fact that he was doing this. It was sad. It was sad. Anyway, we had to have him put to sleep. But I had him at the time of this story. I'm waffling on. And as I say, I was on a bipolar high, and I decided I would go for a walk. Now, I wasn't going to go alone, but as it turned out, the person I was wanting to go with couldn't come. So I thought, all right, I'll just go by myself. Now, if this lady had come with me, I wouldn't have gone as far, because she was pregnant. So we would have just had a stroll along the beach, and then, which was all I intended to do, because it's a big, long stretch of beach, beautiful place. It's a quiet beach. Not very many people know about it, and it's all golden sands. And you walk along this beach, and then you come to like a cliff outcrop. So there's lots of rocks and things like that. And if you follow that round, you come to another town called Saltburn, and it's quite a touristy town, and it has long golden sands and that, and you can get right the way around to the town, but you can only get round at certain times of the year, which I didn't realise it was the time of year where you couldn't get round. So I set off, and I'd got to the end, and I'd sat down for a bit, and the tide was high, it was well in, and it was going out. So I thought, stuff it, I'm going to go a bit further. So me and my dog Sabre, we trundled along to the beach, along the beach, across these rocks, and we just kept going, and I was thundering along. I was like, now I hadn't had anything to eat, and I had no water with me, had no chocolate, no water, nothing with me. I wasn't really appropriately dressed, and I set out on this walk. Well, I got so far round, and then I thought, right, well, I can make it. I'm nearly there. I could see it. And I rang my husband and I said, I've gone out for a walk and I'm coming round. I'm on my way to Saltburn. Can you pick me up? I says, I've gone along the cliff bottom and I'm going to go round. I'll meet you at the Ship, which was this pub, which was right on the side of the beach. And can you come and get me, because I'll never make it back round. Because I was sweating, I was dehydrated, and I knew that there was no way I could make it back, or I didn't think I could. But when we got round, it was actually what's called a swell tide, so I couldn't get across. Now I could see my husband on the other side, but he couldn't see me. And he's going, you'll never get round, the tide's coming in, the tide's coming in. I said, no, the tide's not coming in. I says, the tide was high when I set off. No, the tide's coming in, the tide's coming in. And he got me panicked, and he says, you'll have to turn round and walk back, just keep walking, because the tide's coming in. And I'm like, the tide isn't coming in. It's gone, it's going out. No, it's coming in, it's coming in, it's coming in. So, and it is hard to tell whether the tide's coming in or going out unless you know where it was when you first started. So he was panicking me. He was making me more agitated and more panicked. So then I started to keep walking, and I think I've always had problems with my chest, and I became very, very breathless. I got overly agitated, and I started to hyperventilate. And I thought, there's no way I'm going to make it back now. I'm in a dangerous situation. So I sat, and I had my phone with me, so around the Coast Guard, and I said to them, look, bottom of Hunt Cliffs near Saltburn End. Hyperventilating. And I need help. So they said, right, stay where you are. I said, should I keep walking? Stay where you are. And I just collapsed in a heap on the floor. I just couldn't move. So stay where you are. And I thought, well, that's going to happen. And somebody will come and get you. So, right, okay. So then the next thing I know, Jeremy arrives with a Mars bar. I hate Mars bars, but he forced me to eat the Mars bar. And when you're at that mood, you don't want to do things you don't want to do. So he had a fight with me about eating this Mars bar, and he made me drink this water, which was fine. I didn't mind the water. I was quite like the water. I just didn't like the Mars bar. So then the Coast Guard arrived. Now they came out in a like the large Coast Guard boat, but they had a little boat attached as well, because they had to come into shore. So they gets on this, the Coast Guard arrives, lovely, lovely, lovely man. What's going on here? Lovely man. And so I get to this Coast Guard, and he comes with oxygen. So he puts me on oxygen because I'm hyperventilating. They do my blood sugars, which are fine because I've just had this Mars bar. And they attach me to some oxygen. Now he's carrying the oxygen canister, and I'm attached with a wire to this oxygen canister. So I'm attached to this Coast Guard, only by 2 foot of pipe. So after a while, I come round, I get so that I'm able to stand up, and they get me up, and I'm clambering over these rocks, and I can't see where I'm going because the mask is over my mouth, and he's in front of me, and I cannot look down. So I kept tripping over and kept falling over, and they kept, it's all right, it's all right. So anyway, got in this boat, climbed in this boat, dragged the dog in after me, and the dog was nearly sat on my knee because he just was so frightened. And off we go, and we have to get to this big, and I think we're just going to land in this boat, but we're not. We go to the big boat that's out at sea, and I have to then get from the little boat into the big boat, while on oxygen attached to this man by 2 foot of pipe. Well, oh, carry on. I almost went headfirst into this boat. Then we had to get the dog in, and the dog didn't want to go, and he was clambering across 2 boats. Oh man, it was just poor Coast Guard. It was like, it's all right, don't worry. And we were laughing. Oh, and he'd put all my all my belongings, like my watch and anything that was like not waterproof, like my phone and everything, got put in a bag and stuck on his head in his hat. Oh, it was hilarious. And then we got to the beach, and I have to get out of this boat. Well, and we'll have to get the dog out. Well, the dog managed to get out no problem, and he was running straight off onto the beach. But me, that half carried me, and I was half carried, half sort of walked, and I was and it got me to the beach. It was hilarious. But then, unfortunately, I had to go back and pick my husband up because they'd arrived and he was there. They couldn't let him go walk around by himself because it was posted as a danger, because it was a dangerous area with all the rocks. They'd know you could fall and break your ankle and then we'll back out, so we'll just take you. So my husband was livid because he had to get into this boat and almost be rescued himself when he lived and breathed that area. Oh, it was funny. Anyway, I gets to the beach and there's this ambulance there. And this woman, do you need to go to hospital? I said, no, I'm fine now. I says, I was just hyperventilating. All right, okay. And she assessed my mood, and I said I was Justin said I was bipolar, and my husband was like, she's just on a high, and it was fine. And she gave me a hospital blanket and said, just keep a hold of that, and it's fine. So I ended up with my husband. My husband took me to my mother-in-law straight away so I could get into a hot shower because I was soaking wet. I was freezing cold. I was then starting to go into shock. But my husband's like, the hunting cliffs are very nice down there. The cliffs are dangerous. And what made you set off going? And I says, I was just wanting to go for a walk. I says, I thought I'd be fine. And that's the trouble, you see. Anything could have happened, but I thought I was invincible and I'd be able to make it. Well, the next day there was a newspaper article, lady and dog rescued from cliffs, under cliffs, and I was like, oh man, that's so embarrassing. But no, if you'd been able to see me getting in and out of this boat and cross one boat to another, well, if you'd seen anything like it, especially considering I was attached by 2 foot of flipping pipe to this huge man, it was quite an eventful day, yeah, all in all. And there's lots of times that I've done things like that where not necessarily having to be rescued, but just thinking, I can do anything, I can get anywhere, and just setting off and then realising that I couldn't do it. Or forcing myself to finish and then making myself ill in the long run. So that's one story that I'll leave you with today. I hope you've enjoyed that and I've given you a bit of a laugh and the imagination of me getting in from one boat to the other. Thankfully I wasn't as big as I am now. I was only a wee dot then. I was only about size 10. Very fit. I was very fit, as you can see. I mean, it took me about 3 hours to get round. It wasn't a short trip, it wasn't a short walk. It was a good 3-4 mile. So, So yeah, all in all, it's a fun experience living with bipolar. But then there's the other side of things where you're depressed almost to the point of, well, you're depressed to the point of suicide, and that's the scary side of it as well. So I must admit that depression is easier to deal with than the highs, because you don't know what I'm going to do when I'm in a high, whereas with a depression you just don't want to do anything and you're sat there miserable, and the worst thing you can do is attempt suicide. And things can be done to ensure that you're safe, like medication can be taken out of the way, sharp objects can be removed, or you can be made so that you're never left alone, you're not given the opportunity to do something. So that, whereas when you're within high, people think, oh, she's fine, you know, she's on top of the world, she's singing and dancing, and so they don't put the same safety measures in place. And then I do something like that, you see, and go off on these walks without telling anybody where I was. I mean, nobody knew where I was. They'd come home and they'd have been like, well, where's Lisa? And nobody would have known, and anything could have happened. But thankfully it didn't, and it turned out to be quite a fun experience. Having me and the dog cuddled together in one end of this boat, attached to oxygen on a 2-foot pipe to a man who was about the size of a, well, you can imagine he's a Coast Guard, very fit young man, and absolutely exhausted from walking all the way there and nearly half the way back. And on the way back it was almost like a run, because I was so panicked, because my husband kept telling me the tide was coming in and don't stop, don't stop, don't stop, keep going, and I'm like, oh my word. But anyway, I'm alive and well, and it was a funny experience to look back on. Yeah, so anyway, on that note, thank you for listening, thank you for watching. I hope you enjoyed the story and it wasn't, you know, it gave you a laugh. If you have sorry, if this is your first time watching, welcome. Thank you for taking the time to watch my channel. I hope you'll stay with us and join the crafty world, or join watching the crafty world. Even if you don't craft yourself, it can be quite interesting watching what other people do. Please think about subscribing. If you do subscribe, hit the bell beside the button and be notified whenever I go, do a video, or if I go live. And also make a comment, because if you don't make a comment then the subscription doesn't count, unfortunately. YouTube will remove that subscription. I think I need some more wax. So, and if you've already subscribed and you've been here before, welcome back. Thank you for continuing to watch and support my channel. I hope you've enjoyed getting to know me a bit better, and continue to watch. Please leave a comment. If there's anything you think I could do to improve the video, please let me know. If there's anything you'd like me to do or see, please let me know. I do a variety of different crafts. If there's something you think I might enjoy having a go at, please let me know, and I'll consider doing it. On that note, I'm going to love you and leave you. Please remember to pass on a smile if you get the opportunity to, and I'll see you next time. Bye guys.